Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 went to the live servers just before the end of last April after a month-long evocating period and a handful of alleged server issues that the devs had to fix before delivering the patch to a wider audience, and it is now time to give it a full review. People of the verse, welcome to this channel. This is the Eradicator, and in this video we will follow the footsteps taken in my previous quarterly patches reviews as we go over what was done in terms of bug fixes, quality of life, game-changing elements, overall quality, punctuality, and features. Now, on a side note, I've got to say that I was really trying to hold this one for as long as possible, but you know, at some point it just has to come out. I was waiting for 3.9.1 or any patches that would fix the current patch, but they have not come. And you know, that's what I do in this channel. You know, I say things the way they are. It's also why you guys come here. So eventually I've got to release it, and this is the day. I also wanted to give a big shout out to Magpie or Magpie. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so sorry if I butcher your name, for becoming my latest Patreon. You are awesome. Thank you so much for being part of the club. All right, now let's get started and let's talk about the bug fixes. One of the reasons Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 was delayed by almost a month was because the devs intended to polish this patch as much as possible, and especially wanted to put an end to a plethora of legacy bugs that have been plaguing the overall player experience for months now. And when you look at it, it is true, as the list of fixed bugs is impressive. However, a large share of these bugs that came with the introduction of Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 itself, and thus will only be counted in the overall quality category. Among the fixes listed are now the possibility to get repairs and fuel without having to hover above pads, although this does not always work, but it's a little bit better in 3.9. The hubs at Area 18 that now have an atmosphere, which is great because you won't auto-die if you wake up in the hubs without helmets. I mean, this happened to me several times and it was not fun. Traveling across the Stanton system no longer sends us to the sun, which was a headache when planning a route, and they fixed a number of desync issues which were plaguing gameplay experience in Alpha 3.8. However, double trains still appear at landing zones, quantum travel is still as buggy as hell, ship doors occasionally still won't open, especially with cutlasses, the mobiGlass is still visually blocked by some armor, NPCs still stand on chairs, FPS AI is still randomly responsive, some NPCs bounty hunting missions still have no targets. I just can't give anything better than a 5 of 10 here, which I think is quite generous already. Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 brought us the prison system, as well as an updated law system that aims at seriously crack down on griefers and especially pad rammers. While we will never get rid of griefers and pad rammers, the fact that they now respawn in prison after committing such acts when they die is a relief for the rest of the community, and this is a huge plus that this patch brings. However, this is perhaps the only noticeable improvement to our overall gameplay experience. The unified friends list between Spectrum and the game is also making life easier for us. However, it does not really impact gameplay, and so given the additional elements that came to plague our overall experience in Star Citizen Alpha 3.9, I can't give anything better than a 4 out of 10 for quality of life. The fact that now criminals have to answer for the choices that they make in the game is really a great step towards the right direction in my opinion. There should be a lot of risks involved for anyone willing to undertake the life of a criminal, and the fact that criminals are now sent to prison makes it more fair to players who choose to follow the law. The other huge change that I think will have an ever-growing impact is the introduction of survival mechanics. This new game-changing element means that players now need to constantly monitor their status, meaning that they must now prepare for the eventuality of dying of starvation, or thirst, or high temperature, or low temperature. Lots of different things that can kill you now in a game. This feature adds, in my opinion, a whole new layer of immersion to the game, while at the same time not being too intrusive. These new elements will, in the end, affect the game throughout its entire life, which is not something we get every patch, and for that, I will give here a rare 10 out of 10 for game-changing elements. I was really hoping that we would have had Alpha 3.9.1 by the time this review would have been out, but sadly, this is not the case, and I have to report it the way it is at this time. Let's face it, Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 is barely playable. I have clocked dozens of hours of game time in 3.9, and most of them have been a pain to go through. In fact, I've only had one PlayStation that I found enjoyable. Only one PlayStation. And the most frustrating is that most of the issues that plagued Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 are server related, like the absolutely horrible Superman bug. Some of these bugs go as far as corrupting your account, forcing you to reset it, as we saw in yesterday's video. And no, that was the 2 days ago, actually. The other horrible bug that we have is the one that happens when your ship is pushed by the wind. This shouldn't be happening, especially with ships like a Starfarer or a Karak. And then there's the autopilot at landing zones. Can we please get rid of no-fly zones, or at least get rid of that autopilot? I mean, it is just baffling to me that this has not been the case yet. Overall, I share the idea among with many other players that 3.9 should have stayed in the PTU for longer, but it appears that there was some sort of urge to release it before the end of April for PR reasons, maybe. Whatever it is, it gets the patch a 2 out of 10 for overall quality. Global pandemic or not, the patch would have been delayed because of the major desync issues that have needed to be fixed. I think that the transition to remote work didn't change anything here. This is, 1 out of 10. I mean, it didn't get a 0 because it avoided a May release, but let's hope that 3.10 comes on time. And now let's move on to the patch's features, starting with characters. Prison uniforms are well done and fit well in their environment. They add to immersion and feel believable. The Microtech collection also adds to the game and now allows us to buy Microtech related clothes. Nothing revolutionary here, but nothing bad either. This gets a 5 out of 10. Let's talk about locations now, and let's be frank here. I think that it is fair to say that the new Babbage interiors are amazing. They are perhaps the most detailed and visually pleasing interiors we have now in the game. A lot of efforts have been made to push lightning tech forward, and glass is also omnipresent in those interiors, opening them to the exterior, which is a perfect contrast compared to how Glacier Prison was designed, where everything is done to completely isolate the facility from the exterior. Prisons are unwelcoming, feel dangerous and unhospitable, and don't make you want to ever return. Where you will want to return, however, are the moons of Microtech, just for the thrill alone of their erratic weather and the icy landscapes. Clio is of course the most interesting of those moons, with its bizarre oceans and its pink sun and jade sky. I love how exotic that moon feels, and I think that it actually is the most interesting moon of the game. Locations in Alpha 3.9 are memorable and impactful, and this category deserves an 8 out of 10. And now to AI. Navigation collision avoidance looks like roadmap padding to me. CIG never even talked about it in any of their shows. As far as 3D pathfinding planet side goes, have you seen any AI ships in atmosphere in Alpha 3.9? There you go, me neither. 1 out of 10. Let's talk about gameplay. The friendless unification definitely improves quality of life a bit for players with friends, and that is a definite plus that was added to the game if you are a sociable person. The player interaction system improvements, or inner thought wheels, does simplify player actions in-game and could pave the way to the adaptation of at least Quantum Fortitude to consoles, according to content creators like DG360. And just like him, I think that it is a good thing. The more players there are, the more money CIG gets for the PU, so I am all for that. Prison missions add something for prisoners to do, as we discussed earlier. The player status system also really helps adding to immersion. Too bad that NPC bounty hunting improvements is just here for roadmap padding, as it lowers the mark from a solid 7 to, unfortunately, a 6. CIG, please stop roadmap padding. As far as ships go, yes, the Prowler is awesome, but it was supposed to come with Alpha 3.8, so it really doesn't belong here. What else did we get? Ah, nothing. So much for so-called staggered sheet development. 2 out of 10. And now core tech with only a weather locomotion available. This is again a weak one. Sure, it adds to the believability, but that's it. I mean, if there's anything that 3.9 has shown in terms of core tech is that SSOCS is not enough and that we need server meshing ASAP to run the game. I guess that we can include the lightning improvements in performance optimization, but that's about it. This gets a 3 out of 10. And our average mark for Star Citizen Alpha 3.9's features is a very low, disappointing 4 out of 10, which isn't much of a surprise as the patch was gradually stripped out of its most interesting features, and so its roadmap getting padded quite a bit. Let's hope Star Citizen Alpha 3.10 won't lose any more features because it isn't looking good either. And that's it, guys. Our total score for Star Citizen Alpha 3.9 is 4 out of 10, which makes it the worst patch since I started doing those reviews with Star Citizen Alpha 3.3. The patch does feature some interesting location and game-changing elements, but is plagued by technical difficulties which resulted in a month delay. And before you get me started on the pandemic, let's be honest, pandemic or not, it would not have changed anything. We could see that something was off way ahead as every single key feature of the patch, what was supposed to be there, either got delayed or removed one by one. To me, Alpha 3.9 is a bust. I hope that the 3.9.1 will help salvage what's possible before 3.10. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. As always, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and also that subscribe button, as it really helps this channel a lot. If you want to support the channel, the link to my Patreon page is in the description down below. You can also hit the join button. Any support really helps this channel a lot. I will see you guys tomorrow for more Star Citizen content. Hopefully, we're gonna have an interesting Inside Star Citizen. Doesn't seem like it, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is the Eradicator. I'm signing out.